You won't believe how inexpensive this tablet is, but is it any good? Let's find out. Taylor here, and I often look at really expensive consumer electronics, but sometimes I like to step it down a notch and look at some more entry-level budget products. That's what this is. This is the NUU Mobile T2 Android tablet, and it is, I am not kidding, it is $69 for this 7-inch Android tablet. So, what do you get? Well, in the device, you get a 7-inch touchscreen running at 1024 by 600, so it's pretty low resolution, has a 5-megapixel rear camera and a 2-megapixel front camera. It also features a MediaTek 1.3 gigahertz quad-core processor. We'll get back to the processor, that's a serious issue. And has Wi-Fi, 3G cellular support, and dual SIM support. Running Bluetooth 4.0, so it's pretty, you know, it's like everything at this level. It's a generation or two behind, but that's what you're trading off when you get something at this price. Features 1 gig of RAM, 8 gig of storage, and a micro SD card support, or micro SD card support, which lets you drop into another 32 gigabytes of storage, if that makes sense. Now, it's running Android 6.0 Marshmallow, and it supports Google Family Link, because obviously one of the real potential uses for this is for a small child, or I don't know, maybe grandma who has some issues with focus. So Google Family Link is very nice. Apple, are you paying attention? You should have something like this. And it supports usage timer, app usage analysis, geo-tracking, so you can set it up so when they're away from home, they can't use it for any games, for example. Very nice. It features a 2500 milliamp hour battery, which gives you 8 to 10 hours of typical usage. And let's see, if we do a quick tour of the edges, the top has a micro USB for charging and an audio jack for headphones. The right-hand side has volume up, down, and power, and a little teeny tiny reset button if you need to do that. The bottom has nothing. The other side has nothing. And the way this works is, this is like old school Android. The entire back pops off, and that's where the battery is, and that's where you'll actually gain access to things like where you can put in a SIM card or the micro SD card. So this is, you know, not super thin. It's reasonably light. You can certainly hold it, and that works fine. But it doesn't have any fancy tech on it, so there's no fingerprint scanner, there's, you know, no retina scanner, it's not doing 45 degrees of analysis or anything. It's just a basic, simple, entry-level tablet. So, having talked about its specs, let's talk about what you can use it for, because it's pretty slow. I gotta say, when I was exploring the Google Play Store, it was a little frustratingly slow, and I was actually on a good Wi-Fi network, but did manage to download some apps. And so the first app, and I'll show you here, this is actually Amazon Kindle, because obviously one of the immediate obvious uses for this product, and you can see it's loading up a book. It's taken a while. Looks like we got the book here. So you can definitely use it as a Kindle reader, and that's nice. And I have a book already loaded, so hopefully you can see how quickly it's certainly stepping through. And with the reader, you can do things like, if I want the typeface to be bigger, whoops. Let's see how we do that. Text size bigger and bigger. So now it's considerably bigger. I can also go back to my library, and we can see what other books I have available for my Kindle. I read a lot of books electronically, and my daughter shares my account, so it's a very interesting mix. But suffice to say, as a Kindle reader, this is perfectly fine. It is entirely up for that task. Next question is, well, what about something like actually watching a TV show or a movie? So Netflix is the obvious answer there. So let's go ahead and give Netflix a quick test. I'm going to play, this is the National Geographic series, Mars, and you can see it's loading, and we are on the show. Let's see. Okay, so here we are. Let me just up the volume. There we go. Now, one of the things Netflix does really well, let me just maybe give you that better angle. One of the things Netflix does really well with its software is it figures out not just the speed of your network connection, but it figures out the speed of your device, and it compensates. So Netflix does a really good job no longer doing any buffering or slowing down. It shouldn't stutter or anything. It should just work really well. And I found that it was eminently watchable on this. So that was good. Now, by comparison, I also grabbed the Xfinity app, and my experience is that Comcast's Xfinity does a really good job, but it had a pretty hard time with this device. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring up some soccer, and you'll see, at least when I was looking at it, that it was not very smooth. There was a lot of stuttering, and I think that's because it was expecting more from the processor in the tablet than the tablet could actually deliver. Let's see, so here we go. We finally have some soccer up, and once it starts having enough buffer in the stream, it should be able to show us the game, and with any luck, you can see, you know, it's not breaking any records for super fast on or anything like that. This is just a device that takes a while to get you into any of the apps. Okay, here we go. So here's the game, and obviously the game hasn't started yet, so we're just seeing crowd shots. But I don't know if you can tell, it's like it freezes, it stutters, it moves, it freezes, it stutters. So in terms of using this as a live stream second screen, I don't know that it would actually be up for the task. So let's go ahead and jump off of here. So, you know, it's a mixed bag, but it's exactly what you would expect as an extremely entry-level, super inexpensive tablet. It doesn't have a lot of horsepower. It doesn't have a lot of memory. You know, the screen is at a pretty low resolution, though it's certainly watchable, and it certainly is functional for things like reading an electronic book. That's fine. You know, don't get caught up in having to get like super 4K resolution on your tablet, because that might be a couple of $100s you didn't really need to spend. So before I go any further, let me tell you also that the box, in the box, it includes a screen protector, which is nice. And let's see what else is in here. It also has, actually, that might not be a screen protector. So, but this is a screen protector that you can install if you're so inclined. And it also comes with a wall charger, and it comes with a micro USB charging cable. So pretty much everything you need to get started. There's no case, but let's be honest, this thing's a fairly tough plasticky sort of exterior, so probably doesn't really need a case that much. And most tablets people tend to really take care of, so I think, you know, you can go to somewhere like Target and pick up a generic 7-inch tablet case, and this will work fine. It'll just have like little bands on the corners to keep it in, but you know, that'll work. So here's the thing, it's a trade-off, is that this is not fast. It's a little frustrating to use. It's so slow. The screen is not very high resolution, but depending on what you're using it for or who's going to use it, it might be perfectly adequate. You know, if you have a 4-year-old and you want to give them a tablet to play with, personally, I'm not a big fan of tiny people having tablets, but if that's your thing, this might be just fine. And the thing is, if they then break it or they drop spaghetti in the hole or something, then you know what? It's $69. It wasn't a $300, $400, $500, $600 tablet, and you're not going to be going bonkers saying, oh my God, I worked for 2 weeks to pay for that, right? This is something that, you know, even at minimum wage, this is less than a day's work. So hopefully if you're at minimum wage, you're actually earning more than that. But, you know, the point being, this is a pretty entry-level product, and it comes with all the pluses and minuses of that. So I'm going to give this a very limited recommendation because I think that you really need to know what you're getting into. And I would also suggest that if you're looking at something at the under $100 tablet price point, just cast your net widely and don't forget to look at refurbished products, because sometimes you can find like a $160, $200 tablet refurbished from a company like Microsoft or Apple, and that can be down into that same sub-$100 price range. That could be really nice, or open box at Target or Best Buy or something like that. So there are definitely options. but this is also one to consider too. And if you have someone who's really into the maker space and likes hacking things, this is a perfect tablet to put, for example, maybe on your robot or on your autonomous little car, so you actually have onboard controls, and if it breaks, it breaks, you know, it was not a super expensive investment. Now, before I get back to price and color, let me ask if you can subscribe to my channel. Really appreciate when you subscribe to my channel, and it helps me be able to keep producing these videos and reviews, and obviously very honest reviews, so that we can have a relationship. So, tell me in the comments, do you have a super budget entry-level tablet? And if so, what are you using and how's it working for you? So, finally, this, again, is the NUU Mobile T2 Android tablet, and it's available in blue or gold. This is gold, or rose gold. I mean, I like their color choices. That's good. And it will cost you $69.99 at Amazon.com, which is kind of a crazy inexpensive price for a 7-inch tablet that certainly is going to work just great if Grandpa wants to be able to keep up on all their Kindle reading without actually going to an Amazon product. So, limited, maybe, you know, somewhat less than fully positive recommendation, but check it out. It is an option, and it's certainly at a wonderful price point. So, this is Dave Taylor. I am going to get back to that Netflix show, which means I'll catch you in my next video.